finally, we're getting down to those final two episodes where things are really going to start kicking off in the right way that I've just been screaming for this whole time. Unless like I said, I haven't read the source material, so it could change completely and be exactly the opposite of what we're expecting, but that'd be really disappointing. I'd be very sad. And a lot of people would be sad. I mean, unless we've actually got Shirori stands, but I can't see that. But I mean, my opinion. Who gives a shit about my opinion, right? Nobody. So we start this week's episode with pretty much considering, or not considering, I guess, continuing on from the last week's episode with Jiro and Akari heading back from the beach after, he passed out and everything. Akari comes home. Shiori's talking, with her ginger buddy about, wonder what she was doing. She just came back so late, and they're kind of going out to the porch to go look. And what do you know? Jiro's also walking slowly back on the beach, giving those two the indication that those two must have been together. And of course, now Shorty's already insecure and just not a very awesome character. But so she's freaking out a little bit. We go to the next morning and bathroom, just getting ready to take a brush of teeth, brush the teeth, change clothes, shower, yada yada for the day. And Shiori's in her pajamas, and of course Joe's like, oh my god, oh my god, pajamas. Like, whoop-de-doo. But he's like, I bet Tenjin gets to see this all the time. So they do that kind of passing, go to the bathroom, and Jiro runs into Akari in the bathroom, and he's brushing his teeth, and she's talking about the night before, kind of, giving him tease, because he really does deserve it, honestly, and pushes her boobs up against him, and he chokes on his toothbrush, and, spits it out. She's like, oh, that's gross, and then proceeds to leave the bathroom, and he's like, well, I guess, I kind of deserve the hazing that I'm going to be getting for a while. Move to the next scene. It's Shiori and Jiro in the kitchen, and they're talking about the scavenger hunt that's about to happen. Or not scavenger hunt, just like a test of might type of thing, quote unquote. Even though it's pretty much just two people going down a trail trying to wake their way to the end with a little bit of jump scare. She leaves the kitchen, and of course, who else would come in other than Kamo, whose brother obviously owns the cafe that they've been working at, and he's like, look, if you give me 30 pulls, get that good old gotcha life going on with those two. If you get me 30 gem pulls, I'll pull some strings. So, he kind of freaks out a little bit and proceeds to say, yeah, let's do it. Because Kamo's getting all jealous that he's getting all the loving from everywhere. And he's trying to be a good friend, which, it's understandable, even though he's making the wrong choices. So they get all the handouts and the pulls for the female team. Kamo meets with Mai and goes, here's the list, and here's this list. And Mai asks Kamo, considerably so, why he's doing this. And of course, he just says, he doesn't want Jiro to make the wrong choice or, to make a choice. And Mai goes, you're actually a pretty decent guy. And he's like, yes, pretty bashfully, understandably so, because he doesn't really get that kind of attention. Goes, well, thank you. That happens. And we all know Mai's intentions. She likes Shirori, but she can't do it, so she wants her to be happy no matter what. That's why she's been pushing her this whole time. I kind of wish those two would hook up, get that kind of thing going on, so that Jiro can just jump on Akari. But I don't think it's going to happen, sadly. So we get to the nighttime. Everybody gets in their pairs. They leave to go on to their travels. First group back is obviously Shirori and Jiro. And we find out in a little bit, kind of with the scenes, that Akari is paired with Tenji and loses her cell phone. So they're kind of backtracking looking for it. And those two actually end up getting separated. Tenjin calls the group and tells them that. And Akari is lost and she didn't pay attention where she was in the first place. So she's just kind of sitting there crying in the corner. This is where the shitstorm, in my opinion, begins as a, like I said, Nakari stan with Jiro. I was just... But, anyways, Jiro finds out and he's freaking out, so he goes to run to look for her. She already realizes, this whole thing. And this is when the fight or flight really kicks in for her. Because obviously Jiro's looking as hard as he can, and he's screaming her name looking for her. Ends up finding her cell phone. And we cut back to Akari, who's, really scared, like I said, just kind of like, and it's raining now on top of it. So she's freaking out. We get this cutscene that looks like, obviously, Jiro's gonna find Akari, but it ends up being Tenjin. And, she says Jiro, but it's not him. And so Tenjin's like, oh, yeah? Tenjin, apologizes, for losing her because he's a blonde, he's clearly no intellect whatsoever. Cut to the other group, Jiro, and Shirori ends up chasing after him anyways, which it doesn't show it, but I'm assuming Mai pushes her too, even though I don't feel like she has enough balls to do it herself. And, she tells him, he's kind and everything, and clearly he cares about Akari, and she wishes that she could see the side of him that Akari gets to see in this marriage, and kind of pulls the pity card, facing away from him. And while those two are doing that, they start to face each other, and we kind of find out that, we knew already, but Jiro did not, that Tenjin and her have not kissed or anything yet. And we cut this scene where we see their faces together, and it's quite obvious they're kissing. But I'll get to my assumptions on this for the final episode after. We cut back to Shirori and Tenjin, and she's like, look, he's like, I'm glad that you like... I'm glad you like Jiro, but I could kind of tell that you've always liked me, but I have my heart set on somebody else that I could never have, which is relatable. We've all been there before, at least most of us have been there before, and it really does suck. It's a terrible feeling, but he clearly does not have feelings for Akari, but he's glad that she has feelings for Jiro, because at least she doesn't feel as bad. And he's actually a pretty cool dude. She starts crying about it, even though she knows that he wants her, but she knows that she also has Shirori as competition with Jiro. But he's like, look, the Akari I knew was optimistic, and she had all this courage, and I know you can do it. He's lifting her up and pushing her to do this. And she's kind of crying, because obviously it sucks. It does suck when those kinds of things happen. But the realization that she does love Jiro is fantastic. So she's dedicated now. She's going to fight for Jiro. And this last episode here, I have a huge hunch. That's before we get, that is the end of the episode. Jiro and Shirori kissing, and Akari and Tenjin kind of there, on the other end. I think, personally, what's going to happen is if Jiro's smart, he's going to realize that this was just like a kid crush, and he's going to admit to her, look, this doesn't feel right. I love Akari-san, Akari-kun, and I feel like they're going to fight. But at the same time, I think he's finally going to realize everything that Akari has done for him. She has made him more of a man and less of a little neat otaku than he is. And not only that, but she's given him some of the best times he's ever had. Not even like just visually, but just as a person, she cares for him. She has all the cute jealousy, and I'm there for it. I'm very excited for this last episode. I was a little tight at first because I'm like, great, these two are going to end up together. But I think I might be wrong, and I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping that my theory is right. But we'll see. I know it's going to end up in some heartbreak, but I feel at the same time, like I said, I think Maya's actually going to say something finally about it. And then even if that doesn't pan out, at least that's out of the way. All the feelings are off the table or on the table, and long story short, it'll end in a decent route. So that's pretty much all I have for this week's episode, and I'm really excited to see that finale. Let me guys know what you think about this episode down in the comments, and if you enjoyed and stayed this far, leave a like. Consider subscribing. I upload videos at least usually about 3 to 4 times a week, trying to get more on top of that. Always do 3 at least. Continue on with me next season, starting pretty soon, winter 2023, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So with that being said, I'm glad you guys stayed. Have a good day, and Squid's out. Peace.